for a workforce development program in education. But anyway, a workforce development initiative, and $500,000, but we could only find like $100,000 worth of where an invoice was actually paid. Not to mention minorities in Virginia. So we had put all this together in an appeal, sent it to the state to ask for the removal of Edward Burroughs. The State Board of Education sat on our request for 8 months. 8 months, y'all. And you can easily go and look at the law to find out what the process is supposed to be. They sat on it for eight
Oh, it
months.
don't look like
And
the boss said we wasn't
how?
live, and I think we're going live actually now. So, oops.
Oh,
Um,
we weren't live.
yeah.
For
So
something and that we were live
no,
when I first.
apparently not. And
So should we start over?
oh, it well,
Well,
Yeah,
how
let's
yeah. And
start
I guess since
over.
everybody is here, I can bring everybody
Okay.
Well,
on.
let's start over, but
Hey, everybody. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say before Tanya goes,
Oh,
right, that's what I'm saying.
everything
Now that we
apparently.
got
Uh,
that,
yeah.
just go ahead and give us
And
testimony.
I don't know that I do apologize. I am in Ocean City, so I'm using the Wi-Fi. I'm recording it, and that may be better. I'll upload that in the end, and I'll probably do it anyway because Facebook does delete the lives now. So I'll re-upload the recorded version to YouTube and upload this version onto Facebook at some time. Once we finish. But everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us here at CAG Chat. Um, and tonight we are talking about some of everything. We're going to catch you guys up because it's been a while. And it's been a while since like the whole team has been here. So we're definitely glad to have everybody back. I am Sherman Hardy. I am joined by Levon Reedy Thomas, Derek Holmesley, Tanya Wingfield, and Donna Goodman. Are you there?
Yes,
I'm
she's
here.
there.
It looked like
She's there.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah. So okay. All right. And I told her to turn her camera to the side, but we'll talk about that later. That's a $5
She
deduction.
said out of the blue, so she rusty.
A $5.
He said a
Right.
five
But
dollar fine.
tonight but listen, tonight we are airing it out, and it's still the topic is Prince George's County, Gotham City. And we got that when I was um discussing um the unfortunate event, me possibly torpedoing my entire political activist career here in Prince George's County because I got my behind in a Batman outfit and went to the council and told the world we was Gotham City. And some of the council's members took offense to that because they said we're not Gotham, but they literally sit on the dais and see the stuff every going on every day. And for whatever reason, it's like labeled it this for tonight, and hopefully by because there's a lot of people that just they don't understand why we feel the way we do and why Citizens for Accountability is Citizens for Accountability and Governance. And we're going to let them know what we've been working on over the course of time, and then I'm also going to update you all on some things as well. So let's get into it. Oh, Lavon, I know you wanted to say something, and also I know you wanted to talk about the development from a couple of weeks ago. Did you have that as well that you want to
Oh
talk
yeah,
about?
but I was only gonna hit on one point at a time. So how about
Okay.
I do I'll do that as part of your conversation, piggybacking on your conversation, but let me do the other thing that I did
Okay.
before when we weren't recording. Okay. Hey everybody, been a minute.
No problem.
I wouldn't say everything that I said before, but it is October, breast cancer, breast health awareness month. And 1 year ago, I joined my cohort here on Citizens for Accountability and Governance and let the world know that I had been going through breast cancer for most all of 2024. And so here we are a year later, cancer free, I'm standing in it, and I encourage you to get your mammograms, um, do your self check, men and women. Veronica Garner invited me, classmate Denise Polk, who really was an encouragement to me throughout, even now with my journey. And we had a great time. They gave us a really pretty corsage. I don't be thinking about props, but anyway, I put it over there on the bookcase, and wanted to also honor Bishop and Reverend Cherry, who hosted us, and it was just dynamite. This was their fifth one. They do it every other year, and just the club that I never wanted to join, but I'm here. So as long as God keeps me upright, healthy, and whole, I will speak out about this journey. I recognize that some people want to be private and don't want to talk about it, but the God I serve said, come on out and get good news. So I had some good news, and so I'm gonna end there and then piggyback later.
Okay. Y'all want me to go start back?
Well, I wanted us to and I want to start with what's happening kind of now in the what we've been posting up about, and then show kind of the
I wanted to talk about while we're Gotham first, and then to show it's been happening. It didn't just happen.
Right. It didn't just happen.
It's been ongoing.
Right.
But I want to start, and actually, even from the point that I'm going to start, it doesn't even start because it was happening way back with Donna and Derek when they went through their journey, so they could add some of that. But I'm gonna actually start at 2021. So 2021, this is why I say it's Gotham, because we have a process in place where our laws are just basically sitting there to appease us and not to empower us. And what I mean by that is they claim that they give us a process to follow to hold our elected officials accountable. And then when we use it, I even had one time someone said, "We never had nobody do that, Miss Wingfield." But when we use it, then they try to get their big attorneys in to throw all of this legal language and all this precedent and all everything you can think of as if they were in a big trial to stop us for doing something as small as holding our elected officials accountable. So let me give you a big example. Back in 2021, this started with Larry Hogan's administration. So at that point, the governor had the final say as to who would be removed from the school board based on complaint if charges were issued and it was found to be validated. So our group actually filed for the removal of Edward Burrows, and it was because one, he forged a contract, and this is well documented in the judge's opinion that allowed Dr. Juanita Miller to remain on the school board. So it's well documented. It's not no hearsay that we making up. Just takes a little reading if people would take the time to read. So you can read the opinion that came out for uh, the Board of Education versus Dr. Juanita Miller. So, but anyway, he forged a contract. So we put that complaint in his request for the removal. He actually went and got a contract with some company in California for $55,000 for some prison to pipeline issue that he was supposed to be working on. Never materialized. We never know what happened to it. There was also Liuna. Liuna is that labor company that's running around dealing out money to all these elected officials. Check their donation records, y'all, and see how much money Liuna is investing in Prince George's County to these individuals that we're going to be talking about tonight. But anyway, under this, they were doing some workforce development project that Edward Burrows concocted, and Supposedly, LaUNA did all this work in removing asbestos in some schools that were closed, some schools that were not on. And when we did our division on the board, and there was a pattern of that. So we did all that, sent it up to the board. Guess what? The board sat on it for 8 months, y'all. 8 months. Never ever moved on it. And then next thing we know, the District 8 County Council person, she resigns because she's running as lieutenant governor, and they slide Edward into that position. So it becomes a thing here, commit the crime, and then you get off by going to another position. And this happened under Larry Hogan. Now let's little fast forward to our good old Westmore. Uh, Different governor, same results. We have a board member get rid of Dr. Miller, and the judge put in evidence, which the State Board of Education, this is the funny part, the State Board of Education, this is the funny part, concurred with the judge, yet and still the OIG office that issued that report is the one that does the investigation for the State Board of Education. Guys, that and you just can't make this up. That's why we're in Gotham City. You can't make this up. So even the board went against their own inspector general's report and agreed with the judge. But so yeah, we are in Gotham City, and a lot of this looms around the school board. Now, one thing that Edward Burroughs did get right, and sure, if you can find that video where he said the Board of Education is a cash cow. It is a cash cow, and that's why people continue to try to keep their claws in the school system so that they can get the kickbacks and other things. Now there's some other reports that I'm going to share with y'all tonight because I told y'all I would. Like we just got a ruling from the Opens Meeting Act board saying, I mean, something that the board did that was found in violation in 2021, the exact same act here in 2025 now is not a violation. But again, it removes our ability to hold our elected officials accountable. And we need to start looking at who's at the top of these in these roles. So for now, I'm gonna let that go, and I'm gonna let someone else
I
speak.
get the conclusion on the screen so everybody can see it. That the OIC investigation revealed that PGCPS inappropriately dispersed $36,111.92 in legal fees to law firm board member A. Board member A is Shayla uh, Adam
Adam
Stafford. I
Stafford.
always mix up the yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, makes sense. The board chair approved this payment based on the board's attorney legal opinion, which interpreted the investigative activities of the ethics panel and the OIGE as a legitimate process. This opinion indicated that these entities had issued charges against board member A, an authority held exclusively by the state board. Furthermore, board member A initiated a lawsuit against PGCPS board, ethics panel, and its members, placing board member A as the plaintiff. This lawsuit was ultimately dismissed due to a critical procedural failure by board member A's legal counsel.
There we go. Case didn't
Where was
exist.
I? Board member A initiated as a lawsuit against BCS Board, the Ethics Council, and its members, placing board member A as the plaintiff. The lawsuit was ultimately dismissed due to a critical procedure failure by board member A's legal counsel, namely the failure to properly serve defendants. This unjustified payment highlights a significant deficiency in understanding and implementing the legal requirement for retaining counsel and approving legal fees, raising concerns about potential waste or misuse of public funds. To address these serious
Right.
failures, the OIC issued four recommendations to rectify internal controls, processes, and compliance procedures related to legal fees, payments for board members. The OIC appreciates PGCS Corporation, blah, 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 blah. And I want everybody to pay attention to this line here. Because you're going to see this repeated through every audit that happens in Prince George's County, where it says to address the failings, they recommend rectifying internal controls, processes, and compliance procedures. And every single turn that we look at, and I'm gonna put, well, I probably won't put them all up tonight, but when you look at how this typically happens, those are some of the same markers in each one of the audits. They say, there are no internal controls. People aren't, signing the documentation that is necessary. Sometimes there is no documentation. And that goes to a point when someone tries to do an MPIA, like me, I am someone, hi. When I did one recently to request information on why we, just went ahead and I got what's the word I'm looking for, Tanya? Wiped away. What was the word?
Which
The I'm trying to think of the word. Why we went ahead and gosh, I'm
Eliminated.
drawing a blank. We wiped away $30 million, huh?
What was it?
oh
It was
are
for
you talking about
pretty
that
much
30 that
we forgave
transfer?
it. Like, yeah, no, not the
Oh,
transfer. I'm talking
yeah.
about the citations and also the money we're not getting
Oh,
from the development.
yes.
Um, yeah, so when we did the MPI request, and as a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and pull that up since we're on the subject.
Citations. Did I do
No,
I won't be able to put it up on
yeah,
screen.
like there could be parking citations and things like that from the revenue office that they're supposed to be collecting for revenue for us, and there are a number, millions of dollars that have just
Well, how
been
did they
written
decide who
off.
got written off? Because they came up in my neighborhood where I
Well,
live
I'm gonna
on a
tell you in a minute, child.
cul-de-sac,
Hmm,
which means somebody
hmm.
called the police because one of our cars had an expired tag, and because the
Okay.
revenue
Hmm.
authority is, I mean, let me finish this thought. Because the
Go
revenue
ahead.
authority does not have access to the motor vehicle records, they didn't know that we had a temporary registration. So you writing a check for something that you can't, I mean, writing a ticket for something that you can't even verify. And the process to get it removed is like 6 to 8 months. So in the meantime, and it can collect interest. So let me just go ahead and pay my $100. And I asked the
Okay.
question, how did it get reported? And they said, oh, we do rotations. Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
Hmm. You're not
Yeah.
in the
Okay. Well, I
clear.
got up the email, so I just want to go ahead and let everybody know what I did request. So the first question was, please provide the total number and dollar value of citations that were written off as uncollectible in fiscal year 2024, as reported in the Revenues Authority financial statements. Also, please provide a summary of enforcement or collection actions taken prior to the write-offs. Including whether they were flagged with the MVA for registration hold, whether any were referred to internal collection agencies, whether boot tow enforcement was attempted, any court, legal, or administrative actions pursued. And the response that I got was for the fiscal year 24 published financial report note number 1 on page 17 of the report. As such, an additional allowance has been established for the accounts aged 2 years older. This resulted in an additional allowance of $10,926,125 being recorded in addition to the $39,090,332 allowance that was already established under the prior accounting policy, for a total of $50,016,457. And as far as the records for any type of enforcement or anything like that, they said no records exist for this request. Now it says, please provide any internal evaluations or performance metrics for vendors or systems responsible for citation collection or enforcement related to these write-off accounts. And the reason I asked that is because, well, I want to know, who did we contract to do this,
Hmm.
and how did they do their job?
Okay, let me close my mouth. All
I
right, and
also
let
want
me
to know why they're still
understand.
employed with us.
Let me understand. Did you say that they wrote off a total of $50 million in delinquent
Hmm.
citations?
That's exactly, no, that's not what I said. I said 50,016,457.
A little bit more.
I missed
Yeah,
that
Make no
one.
error. I just want to be clear.
yeah.
Hmm.
And, and,
So
and
I also said, um, I asked as the watchdog group, because we want to know why these citations were deemed uncollectible, whether the uncollectability was due to age, legal constraints, lack of resources, vendor performance, or other reasons. Hell, anything. Whether any remedies were pursued or considered before write-off. No records exist for this request.
So they don't want to tell us what the process, the review process was, the time
Either they
frame
don't
that
want to
the
tell us it,
tickets
or they
were.
don't
They
have a
probably
process.
did not do one. That's probably why they didn't.
That's that's what I was just gonna
I
say.
mean, They ain't do one.
So what's the point of writing it
But
off?
Levon,
Huh?
hold on. I just want to go back to what I told you all to pay attention to. What were the things that I told everybody to pay attention to?
The internal
I
review or
said,
those things.
right. Exactly. It
They
said
tell them to
internal
do it, but
compliance.
they don't do it.
Yeah, but they're saying they have no way. Basically, we did it, but we have no way to to justify why we did it, track what we were looking at. Nothing in place other than just to write it off.
Right. I feel like when they do these judgments, they need to, instead of just saying that, they need to give them specific steps that need to take place and then a report back to see if it
But
was
it
done.
doesn't exist, though. That's the problem. It doesn't exist, and
But
nobody's taken the initiative to put anything in place.
right, I'm saying the auditing department needs to do that. The auditors need to do that. You just don't slap somebody on the wrist and say, do better
So
next time.
But they're
I was
but aren't
trying to
they
put
given
up a
but aren't they given the recommendations and they're failing to follow the recommendations, just
what
like with the
what I mean,
situation
come on.
with
That's what I was about
I'm
to
just
say. You said they're
saying.
giving recommendations. They're giving recommendations all the time. And
Right.
you know, they wipe their behinds with them.
Right. There's
Hmm.
no follow through.
Well, and that
Now,
becomes an issue. Go ahead.
I also inquired because there was some other concerning information that I wanted to figure out because I'm a very curious person, and when something don't sound right to me, I want to know why. So there's a Brentwood project and there's a 4100 project, and Brentwood was executed in 2016 for $3.7 million is what the county invested into it. Got a 1%, well, not even 1%, a 0.01% equity share in it, which is we'll talk about that later. Anyway, it was completed in 2018, features apartment, retails, artisan spaces. The distribution right was 25% of annual cash. And you know, that would be good if we actually got the cash from it, but we haven't received any funds for it because they claim that the developers aren't making any money from it. So I the 4100 project was executed in 2018. We invested 2.1 million. Again, the ownership percentage that we got into it is 0.01%. And that was completed in 2020. It's
Mm.
similar mixed use design. Um, Adventures.
Because we supposed to be idiots and not know better.
Wow. Those are the ones
Something in
at
the
the
milk
table
ain't
making
clean.
decisions. I know.
And I'm
I
lactose
know.
intolerant.
But I also want to say,
So,
thank you to the people who give us I didn't say this from earlier. Thank you to the people who give us thumbs up, who are communicating with us offline. We appreciate that. And we are solution oriented.
But
So let
Tanya,
me just be clear.
listen, I
What
don't want
they
you all
just
to jump. Levon, Levon, I don't
huh?
want anybody to jump past what I just said. I don't want us to get too far outside of what I just said for right now, okay? And I do apologize, but for the people who are watching and even this panel need to understand outside of the $50 million for the citations, how much missing revenue we did not receive from from assisting in building these projects.
right,
And not
exactly.
only that, the contracts were wrong are bad too because we have no clawbacks. You know, we can't
Hmm.
repossess these properties if we ever decided to. And 0.01%, everybody like, you know, I mean, we technically could if it was in the contract,
I doubt it. And I
but
mean,
apparently, you know, we're not in that business. We're not in the business of making money in this county or to provide services. 'Cause let me say that. The reason why
well,
this county needs money and to earn money and to act like a business and not a
mhm.
nonprofit is because that pays for your services.
Yeah, but and I can't believe that we would say that we're not in the business of because revenues is what we need. That's what's going to keep going. You can't keep
Hmm.
taxing your since you're always talking about the seniors, but and I'm a senior. You can't just keep taxing your residents over and over and over again. I have heard so many people complain saying, you know what, I could only register my car for 1 year now and in hope that something's going to change with
Hmm.
the legislation so it'll go down because it costs too much for 2 years now. Which again, we also got to remember it was raised up if you're going to get that 2 years to try to raise money for, to hit a certain target, because we have a deficit at the state and our at our local level. But if people are going to now do less, you still aren't going to make that target to try to eat into that deficit. I mean, this whole plan of taxing people to dig your way out is not the answer. And now it's even
Mhm.
disturbing from what you're just saying, Sherman, because even when we try to do projects to generate revenues, we don't have the right negotiators at the table to know how to structure
You
these
sure don't?
contracts
And think
so that
about which
one, we're
project we about to do
protected.
now.
Which one? Because I'm gonna tell you
Think
right
about the project
now
we're
with
about to
our
do now. We're building the one in Temple Hills,
oh oh that $30 million
and I don't even know
well,
how that's
before we
going
hit that,
because
Well, can I just
yeah,
well,
they're
before we hit
because I
that one,
don't
let
know if
me
they
just
have the
well,
contractors
wait
or
a minute.
not.
Well, even before we hit that one, let's look about at the contracts that are already in play. We have those P3s. We basically put mortgages
Hmm.
on building those schools. And just like any mortgage, when you default on it, so I'm wondering, why they sitting up here doing all of these 100-day celebrations and all these other celebrations where you're spending all
Hmm.
this money. We got bills to pay. And I don't want to see our
Hello.
scholars go to the
Oh, and I'm gonna tell you
school and
something else
find a
about that too.
padlock on the schools. Go ahead.
well, if I could just finish what I was going to
And I'm gonna tell you something
say.
else about that because we just got a, $10 million in additional revenue, and they got a hole in their pocket. That money burning a hole in their pocket. And I'm starting to sound like like my mama, but every time we get a dollar, we spend it, and it's on something
But
that's unsustainable. But I'm gonna go
Well,
ahead and play this video real quick because
can
I
I
did
just
find it.
say? Can I just say what I was going to say, please?
Yeah.
mhm,
So my point that I was going to make was the time and energy that's put into presenting these kind of facts is what we need other people to get involved with. It's not just us sitting around griping, it's actually making impact by drawing out information. And that's what advocacy does. And so, just like we're asking questions, we need you all to answer questions, and we ask questions, and we need you all to take the information that we share and run with it, because it can't just be us
mhm.
showing up to talk about it.
And I just quickly add one thing and understand you're not going to get the answers that the responses always that you want, because these people are doing everything they can
Bahati.
to keep you exactly from holding them accountable. I'm gonna let Sherman play that, and then I want to talk a little bit more about these little fake laws.
He holds a law degree, two master's degrees, one in criminal. He holds a law degree, two master's degrees, one in criminal justice and one in environmental management, and a PhD from Howard University, Commerce and Agriculture as a commissioner on the governor's, and as a commissioner on the Governor's Commission for African Affairs. If appointed, Dr. Moki will be our first Cameroonian-born director of the Department of Environment. He has
Why
advanced
does
our
that
water
matter?
quality projects while reducing projected costs by 20%. He has launched major climate and energy initiatives, including plans for the very first.
He did
He
not.
he did not. No, he did not.
So he went back and further educated himself.
Hmm.
And all of the stuff that she said he did, he's only done it since June.
For the most recent things that he's done, like
And did
she
she
said, since he's
present?
been appointed, he's done. Saved us. Any evidence? No.
Well, that's what I was
Honorable Fisher and Honorable Donoga, I thank all of you for the opportunity to be before you on this historic day to speak on my nomination to become the director of the Department of Environment for Prince George's County. Let me also use this opportunity to thank you, Madam County Executive, the Honorable Aisha Braveboy, for nominating me to this position. Madam County Exec, on behalf of my wife, Jackie, who is here, my children, my family, my community, and the good people of this county, I thank you for this honor, this privilege, this opportunity, this confidence that you have bestowed on me. Even more impressive, Madam County Exec, it is the exuberance of your steadfast support for me, unwavering, even when it was not convenient for you. Madam County Exec and members of the County Council, thank you for demonstrating to the world that Prince George's County is a county of diversity. It's a county of multiculturalism. It's a county of inclusion. It's a county of integration. It's a county of possibilities. Let me thank my wife, Jackie, for who I have shared my life for 36 years. And 6 years before that. So I've been together with her for 42 years. And my daughter, Effie, Lee, and Ike, and their spouses, and my other family members, and all those who came here to support me. If I may borrow and modify from former President Barack Obama, only in Prince George's County would my story be possible. As an immigrant from Africa, whose mother never, ever saw the four walls of any formal educational institution. And a father whose highest educational qualification was completion of elementary school.
A little bit.
Okay, can we get back to the conversation on that? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut him short, but I do have
Yeah,
some
we can
so
go back a little bit more.
I guess so is her point that he left the cat even though he was basically terminated from his position, he bettered himself and then he came back.
Hmm.
Is that what her purpose? Okay. Um
No,
and
no. That's not
I
what she's
guess it would have
saying.
been nice if she
They're
oh okay.
saying that before,
Well,
like what we're thinking or seeing isn't what actually happened.
oh, so you're saying that what the judge
It provides me with the opportunity to improve the environmental quality and aesthetics of this beautiful land that fills me with so much pride. Oh yes, I love this county
so okay,
and assisted
But
living
he,
home
I
to
don't know.
cater for the older population
I
of
got
this
you.
county.
Okay.
For over
I
20
guess in other
years,
words we
I
have to
have
let
taught and
time
mentored
tell.
thousands of college students right here
Okay,
in Prince George's County. Make no mistake, Prince George's County is my home. Make no mistake, that was not easy to achieve. 2 million in capital improvement projects at the Animal Services Shelter on the way, and integration of communications between the Animal Services Division and the police, Prince George's Police Department. DOE support for the Strike Force 311 Task Force, clearing thousands of 311 backlog citizens complaints. Review of flood mitigation plans and risk assessment, and municipal coordination of 3 buffers designs. Planting, including tree planting in cities, municipalities like the district, like Forest Heights and District Heights. Residential solar program implementation and Unified Climate Action Plan, including planning for the Brave Boy Climate Summit scheduled for November 20th, 2025. Focus on increasing food and wood composting operations and methane gas capture at the landfill.
He done?
Okay, no, I'm gonna just go ahead and fast forward because I know he has was a little longer.
Yeah, it sound
But
like it's starting to sound
yeah,
like a
this
Trump
was
So while you
speech.
fast forwarding, I don't even know where to start. The
and
whole
hopefully because
African
again,
thing,
Well,
Africans have been engaged
Actions
as
to
other
protect the
folk from
environment.
other countries
he he just repeated
mhm.
everything she said.
have been, but they have been hungry for a position in the cabinet of the county executive for a long time. They didn't get it with Jack. They didn't get it with Rashawn. They didn't get it with Angela. So now they got somebody as a cabinet person. So that means that she will be celebrated as someone who honors the African community and their intellect and their experience and all of those things. And I'm not going to say that there were not people who were not worthy of holding a cabinet position, but him, nah. I don't know why him, but I think I probably could guess. The other thing I want to say is $31 million in the stormwater management contract. What does that mean to the company that holds that contract with Prince George's County? If they lost 31 million, they got to make it up somewhere. Something's got to be cut short. So what is it that we're not getting that they were able to negotiate a 31 million reduction? And the last thing I'm going to say is the trees that he talked about being planted was in District 7 and District 9, the council chairs and the vice chairs districts. That's not to say other trees weren't planted, but these are the kind of comments that they drop
you said District
into.
9?
Yeah, he said did he say 7? And he said Forest Heights. I'm sorry, District 8 and District 7. He did say Forest Heights. I just had 9. And so my thing is, those are the nuances that people need to pay attention to when they are celebrating their accomplishments. It is not for all of Prince George's County, but it's on all of our tax dollars. I'm done.
He just
I just want
repeated what she said.
everybody
That
to know that again, I apologize about the stream um, right now because I'm pretty sure it's buffering. I'm seeing it on my end, and I know that people on YouTube has to be seeing it as well. But we'll make do. Hopefully, you can still hear our voice. What were you about to say, Tanya?
well, I mean, all he did was repeat what she said just a little louder. I mean, it was it was a
He doing
duplicated
scripture.
speech. Oh, okay, they do a lot of that, but I guess it's a thing of wait to see how things turn out. I mean, it's just 18 months, but I want to know what happened to all these savings. Where, yeah, and Levon makes a good point. Where did you take it from? What was the justification for moving that money, and what did you all do with it? Because
Hmm.
here we shift money around here just to take care of somebody else's next idea they dreamed about the night
Or
before.
shoveling snow, you know.
We got all these
But yeah,
ideas, everybody dreaming.
but
Well,
again, we definitely see the pattern of the operations and Aisha Brave Boy was elected to be the county executive to just hold us steady until the next election, to fill over that gap. But she's preparing for her 10 years, as everybody keeps saying. And right now, the
mhm.
first thing you come out the gate and do is beautification and spending more money. I just don't understand that. But I'm definitely going to let y'all know where that money is coming from soon too.
Especially when
Yeah,
you
with a
ran
deficit.
again, when you supported the candidate who ran against the previous county executive and said that she basically didn't do anything. So instead of, like you said, coming in and right-siding everything, she's come in talking about morale and people's personality conflicts. And, I just hope that somebody wants
Hold
to
on.
run against her. And let me,
Well, wait a
Yeah.
minute now. Let's talk about the morale left at the state's attorney's office. Come on.
right,
But wait a minute. Before we
right.
finish, I just want to go ahead and get to the comments. I'm
My name is
sorry.
Taylor
Before we
Prince
change
McCollum,
subjects.
and I'm from Landover, Maryland.
You have
I'm currently
Taylor.
fighting the proposed data center at Landover Mall. My petition on change.org to stop that project has over 21,000 signatures. I stand here representing them. We want a director of the environment who won't fast track data centers, and I fear that Samuel Moki doesn't have the long-term interests of the people at heart. Most people will get up here and talk about how they have interacted with Samuel Moki just over the past few months, and that's what alarms me. At the TIE meeting, his subordinates testified. In my opinion, it's unethical to have subordinates testify, period. How can this cancel negate that? Moki claims 31 million in savings in 3 months. Unless he mismanaged something again, I feel he's taking credit for something that was already in the works. Samuel Moki was fired in 2014 from the Department of Environmental Resources for persistent gross negligence. Did the Lord guide him then? County Executive Ray Boy formally upheld his firing when she was the state's attorney in Prince George's
Oh,
County. How is it she can turn a blind eye to his past transgressions that led to
You
the
see her face.
and fines? I want leadership that cares about the future, not for themselves, but not for just themselves, but for the world. Don't let this be a show of trumpery. If that word is new to your vocabulary, let me help you out. Trumpery means showy but worthless. What good is this meeting if you don't look at opposing arguments? Thank you.
Next, Sherman Hardy.
whoa.
Wow.
Okay, thank you for that one.
That's what we talking about.
You know, people used to call
Girl,
Prince George's County the crown jewel of Maryland. Now it's starting to look a lot more like Gotham City, where corruption crawls out of retirement and the same villains keep getting promoted. Today's council session is deja vu. The same faces, the same failures, the same excuses, and somehow the same people keep back to power. Everywhere you turn, someone who once failed this county is being honored with another title, another office, another paycheck. This isn't redemption, it's recycling. And I have to ask, what happened to the heroes? What happened to courage? The way this council moved this nomination from committee straight to a full vote, you think the bat signal went out for cowardice, not courage. You said you needed more information. Well, here's a thought. Maybe do your homework before the test, not during it. You don't need more information. You need more integrity. This isn't leadership. It's an audition for a sequel nobody asked for. Gotham County, Return of the Unqualified. And so here I am, the dark night of accountability, not because I wanted to be, but because too many of you have forgotten why you were elected in the first place. You can ignore my words this morning, but you can't silence the people who sent me, because justice doesn't vanish when the lights go out. It waits, and sooner or later, it comes knocking.
Next, we'll have Michael Bloom.
Woo!
Yes, sir.
Don't
All
put your
right.
hand in the face of the
Da,
camera.
da, 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 da.
It was too close for my comfort. All right.
Wait, so when you turned around, your hand was close to her face, like you could see where she was when you
My
turned
name is
around.
Michael Bloom. I live in Berwyn Heights. I'm on the green team. The fact that a man guilty of
Yeah, they tried to say that I put my hand in her face, and I was like, it couldn't be furthest from the truth. Like,
I missed that
I'm
part.
not disrespect. And put your hand in somebody's face is fighting words.
Right.
And I was not about to fight the county executive, so no, I'm not doing that.
Wait
But
a
I
minute, are
did
they
want
saying
to
you?
express my
Look,
displeasure and thumbs down.
that was show.
That's
That's
what
just
Burrow
Evan
said.
showing off.
Did that happen
Yeah,
on
I mean,
screen
from the camera.
supposedly?
Well, yeah, I
But
just
I
played
must
it.
have missed it. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I
we
missed
can't
it.
Yeah, I
even
just
see
played
it
it. You
'cause
didn't
it's
see
so
it?
slow.
I didn't
No,
see the thumbs down. I
Oh,
didn't see that part. I didn't see
I
that.
didn't see the put your hand in my face.
Excuses. And
I
somehow
didn't
the
see
same
how
okay.
that was.
We'll do this one more
Look,
time just so
Everywhere
y'all
you
can see
turn,
it.
someone who once failed this county is being honored with another title, another office, another paycheck. This isn't redemption, it's recycling.
we don't
We
see
don't
it
see
at
it.
all.
What happened to the heroes? What happened to courage? The way this
Huh?
council moved
We
this
don't see
nomination
it,
from
Sharon.
I don't
committee
see it
straight
at
to a full
all.
vote, you think the bat signal went out for cowardice, not courage. You said you needed more information. Well, here's a thought. Maybe do your
There
homework
it
before
is.
the test,
Wait.
not during it. You don't need more information. You need more integrity. This isn't leadership. It's an audition for a sequel nobody asked for. Gotham County, Return of the Unqualified. And so here I am, the Dark Knight of Accountability, not because I wanted to be, but because too many of you have forgotten why you were elected in the first place. You can ignore my words this morning, but you can't silence the people who sent me.
I don't see it at all
justice
now.
doesn't vanish when the lights go
Whoa,
out.
okay.
And sooner or later, it comes knocking.
Next, we'll have.
So I don't know why you are.
now
Oh,
it's on
there
the
it is
big
up there.
screen. Keep going. It was on the big screen.
Wasn't on mine.
Okay.
Right.
It just now it was.
But
Yeah.
now it's gone again.
How is that too close to her?
I still didn't see it.
We gotta go online and watch it.
But his hands was not close to her. And Edward needs to shut
No,
up.
at all.
Send us the link.
That is crazy.
And Edward was the one who said his hand was in her face.
Yes. And I didn't see your hand in her face.
Yeah, from the angle he was at, it probably did look like that. But it's one of those things where you don't have anything else to say, so that's what you say because
Right.
you
Right, 'cause
were
you're involved in the lack of
displeased that I
integrity.
would give a thumbs. You were displeased, that I would give a thumbs down so flagrantly and and so openly, to your play sister. So talking about my sister,
Right.
it
Yeah.
was one of those
And
things. The only thing you could say was that. So.
but you called them all out. You called them all out for this. And that just rubbed Mr. Ed wrong.
But they're not supposed to make comments on people. That's the thing that gets me. They just take free will and say and do whatever the heck they want to say.
Just like they take it like they spend our money.
Yeah, well,
vicariously. This I tell you, okay. This is what is so funny about this unity. And I got to get this off my chest. And I am not talking no hearsay. I'm talking what I got from the horse's mouth. This little unity. This little unity thing that they're running around trying to tell us, it's just a bunch of unity and lies. So I'm gonna start it with ball of confusion. Yes, a ball of confusion. Now, you know what? I'm gonna tell you. Remember, they always start their dirt at the school level because that's where the contracts go. They got to get control of the school contracts. So, in June, Mr. House was forced out. Now, of course, the county executive elect, and that's why I made that comment, the county executive has demonstrated when she opens up her mouth, there are things coming out that just ain't true. And we're going to talk about that.
And that she's clueless.
So
that
Jade is just
well, I'm gonna tell you, everybody involved.
I said it out loud, but everybody is saying it, and I'm talking to a lot of people that said it.
But everybody involved in the pressuring. But everybody involved in the pressuring of Mr. House being forced out of his position are clueless. To think that we were not going to dig and ask questions and come up with the truth. Now, we've already showed y'all that crazy
you
contract.
Ready to tell the truth and shame the devil?
We ready to tell the truth, bring all the lies in the room. Sure enough, we ready, as Donna would say, we ready to bring all the lies. Sherman, would I be able to share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna share something with y'all because you know what? I am so sick and tired of all these unity liars.
Today?
Yeah.
How? What'd you say?
You feeling festive?
Festive.
Are you feeling
yeah,
festive?
Yeah.
My problem
yes, I am. Yes, I am.
If the alignment is in chaos and confusion and corruption, then it ain't nothing to celebrate.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you know what? It's the celebration of getting the truth out.
No, I mean for them, they always talking about how aligned they are. The council and the school board and
well,
the county
aligned. They're aligned to lies. Their unity is around
corruption
lies.
And confusion.
Plain and simple. And y'all know my favorite thing. If you say I slandered you, sue me. because I would love for Discovery to come out on this one. Sue me. So let's talk. So remember now on June the 13th, the county executive elect, not the county executive, because that was Tara Jackson. The county executive elect came out and said,
She was the
I was
pre-county
aware.
executive.
Okay, is that what we're gonna call it? Now remember, she came out and said, I heard about the the tension between the school board and the superintendent, and knowing how things would go, or anticipating, I believe is what she said, how things will go. I moved fast so that there would not be a lapse. So first of all, statutorily, chick, you didn't have the authority to do it because you were the county executive elect.
But
And
yeah,
being an
because she was
attorney,
coming
you
in,
should have
so it was
known that.
pre-county executive.
Let me finish. No, no, you're an attorney, so
They
you
have
knew you didn't have the authority. But
and
let me,
power too.
but let me finish. Well, and in their inherited in their head, but yeah, but um, Edward Burroughs ain't have no business in it. Nothing in the law says should have had anything to do with a separation of
Well, he's the chair of
house
the
moving.
council
But well, yeah. So he thinks that that gives him the right, and
and on the education committee.
the board chair definitely doesn't have the authority without the authority of the board directing him. So I got this straight from the horse's mouth. And my expectation after this, I expect for our state's attorney, Tara Jackson, to open up a formal investigation because Mr.
Well,
House
she
was,
wouldn't be
let
able to
me
do that.
finish.
She couldn't do it
She's
herself
state's
because she was a part
attorney.
of it.
Yes. No, I
Yeah,
said
but
Tara
at the
Jackson.
point where it happened, she was the acting county executive,
It, the,
so she would have a
I don't know what
conflict.
she, no, because I don't know what she knew. She wasn't there on stage with them. So
Oh,
we don't know what she knew.
oh, well,
But
true.
this we do know.
You think
This
they
what we
snuck it
do
past
know.
her?
Look, bottom line is this.
Because
She
she was the
knows
actual
she gonna
county
know it
executive.
tonight.
So how could that happen? Not happen.
Sure. Let her
Sherman,
finish. And
let me
then we
finish.
hit it
I'm
up.
sorry, I'm being
Because
so
the
quick.
bottom
I'm
line is
sorry.
this. Regardless, they could have snuck it past her. I don't It almost snuck past us if I hadn't had the opportunity to speak directly to the horse. So,
Hmm.
Edward Burroughs, because everybody knows how Edward Burroughs uses the media to throw stories out there to slander everybody. Because we know that, because we saw that with Dr. Miller. What they do is how they try a case in the media. So, Edward, who was involved in the separation for Mr. House? Who was negotiating it? These three people here. Edward Burroughs, who has no jurisdiction at all to be talking to the superintendent, telling him he's to leave. Edward Burroughs, Aisha Brave Boy, county executive elect, had no business being in there. So, of course, she knew the tension was going in there because she was negotiating. And Brandon Jackson. Miss Wingfield, you're going to be proud of my administration. First of all, it ain't your administration. You're one vote, sir. One vote. You're one elected member of that board. But these are the three people. So, folks, we've showed y'all that contract, that separation agreement that came out with House. That's why you don't have Brandon Jackson was silly enough to sign it, but you don't have any other signatures on there. These are the people that negotiated it. And this young man, Edward Burroughs, is the one who pressured him to let him know if he didn't do it, then there just may be a story in the media about a family member working for the county. So
You talking about Ed
he
Dad?
didn't just, no,
Oh,
no, I'm talking about on House's
oh,
side.
I'm sorry. I thought you were
So
saying something
the
else.
threat was made to House family, and that's why he decided not to fight. So
So you saying he was
this
threatened, or his
wasn't
family livelihood was threatened?
he was threatened. He was threatened, and that's why he went ahead and actually stepped down and decided not to fight.
Wow.
because he didn't want to put his family through this. So this unity stuff, I'm sick of these lies with these three people here.
Well,
Brandon
they
Jackson
have
running
unity. They
around
didn't say
talking
who
about
in
yeah,
the council.
but hold up, yeah, but let me finish, Sherman, because I want people to understand this point. You need to understand the positions of leadership who will stoop to the point of threatening innocent family members to get what they want. Now, let's fast forward to Dr. Joseph. Dr. Joseph, you need to explain to the public how is it that you called Mr. House before your appointment and asked him questions about, hey, what's going up here with David Murray? What's this David Murray thing going on? Tell people how you would know that. And you just said, the stars aligned, and I was given an offer.
Wait a minute, Tanya, but is that before or after Murray was put out there that he was?
This was before. Remember now, this is before he was even announced to us.
Oh, yeah.
This is before House resigned.
And also,
You
y'all
got Dr.
remember
Sean
that David
Joseph
Murray is the one
making a
who left and went to another state and was still receiving funds from the county.
right.
Yeah.
So this was all happening on the
Exactly.
school board. Um,
Oh, and not only that, House didn't start having problems until he let Edward Burrows know he was not hiring David Murray. That's when all his woes started. He was defiant, man. Talk about y'all. Like I said, y'all talk about MAGA.
so you saying this
Got it
was
right here.
was supposed to be a quid pro quo?
Quid. Whoa, pow. Yes, indeed.
And
So, wait, but let me
also,
finish. Hold on. Let me finish. So, how does Sean Joseph, who shouldn't know anything about all this stuff going on, but you're going to call House and ask him, then going to say, well, you know what? Now, in one of his speeches, I don't know, Sherman, I sent it to you. I don't know if you can bring it up. He said, I don't run from anything. No, because you capitulate. Because what did you tell House? I think I'm going to hire David Murray. So let's see if David is on the payroll, y'all.
yeah. And also, we have to remember and let people know about this situation because, again, they're saying this is in Gotham City, but you have elected officials running around, threatening and intimidation. That sounds like the Penguin. Don't that sound like the Penguin? Y'all, they gonna break your knees or something?
Or the
Yeah.
Joker give you that
Get
smile
you
that
out
never
back
goes
and
Is
beat
the
you
away.
down or
Joker or the
something.
Riddler that,
So one of my follow-ups, my updates is that I did attend Dr. Joseph's District 9 listening session. They got all these listening sessions. I got 30 years worth of community meeting notes that I could change the date and drop it into anybody's email and you wouldn't know the difference. So anyway, I went, it was at Frederick Douglass, and he had the nerve, the audacity. You don't know who your audience includes, and you don't know what people know and who people know. This man actually said in his opening remarks that there are principals in this school district who should not be principals, but they became principals because of relationships that they have. It was all I could do to sit in my seat and not jump up and say,
like you
hypocrite. And then the other thing, so he's going to be addressing and looking at these principals and whether or not they should stay in the school. You got a 1-year contract, dude.
Exactly.
You're
Hey,
person.
Look. Now remember, we filed an appeal with the state, and that's why Brandon Jackson needs to resign. He just needs to resign. Do not elevate Brandon Jackson to any other office, y'all, because here, remember, we filed an appeal with the state, which the state is still doing that game of holding out, not giving an answer, because they're trying to say that Aisha Braveboy, because she was the elect, she could go ahead and appoint Joseph. Well, let me show y'all something here. Now, we put forth, we think, a very good argument. And we think that's why they're sitting up here and waiting. So if you look very closely at the law that speaks to the role of the county executive, the role of the county executive, they can select, 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 select. Where is it? Select. Does anybody see a point? Does anybody see go out and search for? It says select, select, select. How do you select? Well, you select right here. The county executive shall select from 3 nominees. Now, here's where our the attorneys are trying to argue. And this is where our state's attorneys, shame on them for being so ambiguous when they write these laws. So here you can see it says if a vacancy occurs of the county executive shall select, didn't say go search for, didn't say appoint, like she said in her speech, and you can go back because it's memorialized on video, and the county board shall appoint the interim. So how do you select? We go back up here, select. But this is what they're trying to say. Well, it doesn't say that she got to select from the group. Well, it doesn't say she can go out and search either.
Yeah.
The only
Well,
place where it does say
let
something is here. Go ahead.
yeah. Let me know when do you have something else after this one as well to
Last
update
thing I
on?
want to
Like,
last thing I want to put in. The other thing that
okay.
we had argued too. So first of all, we got two things going here. One, they need to be investigated for that the intimidation and the threats made to Mr. House to get him out of that position. And that was and at that time, guys, she was the state's attorney. Where was Mr. House supposed to go? Because the highest law enforcement in our county was sitting in a room while he was being threatened. So where was he supposed to go? She's participating in this circus. And instead of talking to this young man, Edward Burroughs, to tell him, young man, you're not doing the right thing, they're only thinking about being united. But anyway, last thing is our Constitution is clear about the oath of office. We got a situation right now playing out in the House with the Arizona, the lady from the House of Representatives from Arizona. How she can't do anything. She can't do anything official until she takes the oath of office. Our Constitution is clear that you do not act in a role until you take the oath of office. She was still sitting as county elect, not county executive. She broke the law. She was a state's attorney. She did it for her own selfish reasons so that they can all appear that they are all united. Sean Joseph needs to go back home. Because just like Mookie, Moki, I'm sorry, it's the same thing. You keep bringing people in here that are compromised so you can control them. That man his contract was terminated in Tennessee, not only because of how he handled that sexual harassment issue, but because of his contracts. So, and the last thing I'm gonna say, and then y'all can open it up. I want to know, we're talking about we have a tight budget, but yet and still, oh, and that's the person who negotiated Dr. Joseph's contract. Here we go again, Mr. Burroughs. He ain't got no business doing that. And who actually capitulated and let this happen? The chair of the board, Brandon Jackson. You need to resign. Shame on you, because what you did is illegal. I would like to know, well, you're employed by the county, so we got to fire y'all through voting, but I would really love to know who his employer is. Is this what you allow in your with your employees to act like this? But last thing, Sean Joseph, we're talking about we have this tight budget, but yet and still, Sean Joseph gets $3,000 a month that not even accounted for. He can spend it on anything he wants. We're paying for his cable TV. His cable TV. We are paying for him because he didn't buy. Sean Joseph has not lived in Prince George's County. He lives out in Gaithersburg. So we're paying a car and security to go pick him up every day from Gaithersburg and bring him to Prince George's County and to bring him all around to meetings. Yet and still, we're saying that we have a tight budget and we are cutting in every area that we can find. But yet and still, here we go again in Sasser, the cash cow. That Edward Burroughs, that's the one true thing, the true thing that he said about the cash cow. We are taking money from our scholars to give to somebody who wasn't even worthy to have the position. Y'all
All
go
right.
ahead.
So, and thank you so much for that. I did want to get back to other reasons why I consider this to be Gotham, because that is the thing what we're trying to talk about. And if you haven't figured that out yet, you're about to see a little more now. CAC has documented a pattern of systemic misuse of public funds and contract manipulations, as you know, Donna will tell you herself, and insider influence across multiple levels of Prince George's County government. What we are seeing is not one-off mismanagement. It is institutionalized misconduct sustained by a culture of political protectionism and unchecked power. And not only that is because these people forgot that they are lawmakers, that they are legislators, and that they have the ability to fix the government and the systems that we have, but they're not looking into those things. So let's start with the facts. There was an unauthorized, well, we already talked about unauthorized payments, the Shayla
Adam Stafford.
Adam Stafford. Yeah. And I want to remind everybody about the project charges because that was a huge issue of mine. And the 2023, not an audit, revealed one-time discretionary payments were being funneled to politically affiliated nonprofits. One of the ones that they named and called out was Jones House of Refuge, which is 100 what the Parker has been running those organizations. So again, they're getting double the pleasure, double the fun. Reed Temple Christian Academy, they received $2.3 million, and they were a private religious school. Progressive Maryland, for
Mm.
those that know what Progressive Maryland is, and those who don't, it's a political advocacy group. They do a lot of work, and they just started coming down a lot more into Prince George's County, most recently. But they also hiring people. I've definitely seen the announcement for job descriptions for field organizers and stuff like that, so they can kind of organize in certain districts to kind of determine, what's going on in their neighborhoods. But again, the county spent $100 million, I mean, $100 million, $100,000 to this organization to, for their mission. Operation Ernie's Pay received $100,000, but there was not a lot going on with there as far as like who they're connected to per se, even though, um, but they just had grant issues, like the way they managed misuse their audits. And some of these people actually have donated to the county executives campaigns. And then there was the Office of IT, the OIT, the contract steering, where former OIT director Gibson hired her boyfriend as a county contractor, gave him private office access, and steered contracts through GMG World Media for services that staff called unnecessary. And when employees raised concerns, they were ignored. And that was an abuse of authority, procurement manipulation, and misuse of taxpayer dollars. To date, we have not confirmed that these contracts were ever terminated or competitively bid since then. But there has been widespread grant mismanagement as well. Audits more than a dozen nonprofits, includes the Denny House for our Unified Seed, the Milton Mathers Foundation, and others, found missing receipts, inflated costs, improper contracting, and direct political ties. Incredibly, many of these same organizations receive additional funding in later years, despite violations and without any visible enforcement or clawbacks. The county purchase card system, the government purchase card, had been used for unauthorized expenses, gift cards, meals, unverified purchases with no receipts or reconciliation. Within central services, the staff manipulated change orders to inflate contract values so that they can skirt some of the laws, and probably so they don't have to do as much work as they're supposed to be doing. Um, and at Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Corporation, equipment purchased with public funds couldn't be accounted for because no proper inventory system existed. So
Mm.
this is
Wow.
part of the reason why we're saying that, and this is just not just happened over the Brayboy administration. This has been, for the last 10 years. A
Yeah.
lot of the stuff has, been recent. But why do I know this and why don't they know it? And why aren't
But
they
they
doing
do
something
know
about
they're
it?
hypocrites. All the
Mhm.
Right.
things that they are doing are the very things that they all criticized their predecessors for,
Mm-hmm.
and they were going to come in and give good governance. Well, good governance
Mm-hmm.
is an abstract term because good governance means my friends and family will get the
Right.
benefit. Those who have been overlooked, those who have been excluded, they get things. And so that's the thing that gets me about it all is the hypocrisy. Now, I do want to comment about IT. The new IT director
Mhm.
is Bernard Wright. He served in the Baker administration under the same position. I think it's very interesting that she brought him in. I'm sure he made some, inroads that were beneficial. I haven't looked to see. I know that he's very engaged. He has a very successful company. His track record is great,
Mhm.
great family. I like Bernard, so I'm hopeful about his participation. Linda Allen is what they're calling the director of the Office of Finance. I guess they renamed that from the Office of Finance and or Office of Management and Budget. She's a longtime merit employee, so it's nice to see people who have come up through the trenches get into these appointed positions. I worked with her. She helped me to move our event registration through to improve its online access for payment and registration. She's good people. She's educated. She has certification. So I didn't know that she was being sworn in last night. So I'm hopeful about that. And the last one I'll add is the chief, the fire and emergency services chief, Delmitra Mimi Michaelidis.
Mhm.
She was sworn in last night. Dynamic woman. I was surprised because she had retired, had left the state's attorney's office, state's attorney Braveboy's office. But to see her back, it was well received last night. And so there are some people, I don't know the other people. There are a couple of people that people have told me were, highly successful in previous positions. And so, but my thing is being a person of integrity and having worked in that space, you can only do so much before the compromise confronts you.
Right.
And while I'm hopeful about the adults that are sitting in these positions, I'm still seeing the charades. Daryl Barnes has been a state legislator and he is playing with
Yeah.
dynamite, letting these people move money. They
Right.
are taking over Maryland National Capital Park and Planning,
Oh,
which we
I'm
Yeah.
so glad you brought
And
that up, Levon,
I'm
because
surprised
I'm gonna say something once you finish with that statement, because that
okay,
was
go
my
ahead.
next topic.
which we know is one of the things that Mr. Ed, Ed Burrows, the council chair, that he has been on his checklist, right? And now Daryl is running around here like he has been elected king of the land, king of the plantation. Daryl, you cool people with me. I don't know you like that. I just know
Well, we're gonna get to him because
watching
he's supposed to
you.
come on CAG in November. So,
Well,
I will
you know
be.
what? I hope Daryl explains this because Daryl, you and I have had so many conversations out at the Starbucks in Largo where I have given you evidence of corruption. And that was when it was at the school level. And you promised me if you got in a position of power that you would do the right thing. And what you're doing right now is putting us in a position where Montgomery County could come sue us, some state legislators could come sue us because of what you are allowing with this money.
Individuals can come
And that is
sue
not the
you.
right thing.
well,
Yeah, that's not doing the right
we
thing.
shall see. Now, the next thing that I want to go ahead and update everybody on, since we are on the subject. Hello, thank you so much for joining me again. um,
Us, joining
so
us.
CB 98. I'm
I
sorry.
said joining us.
Yeah, joining us. CB 98 2025 is about to be approved a supplemental appropriation. And this is spending an extra $10.36 million mid-year. This isn't a new debt. It is money that came from higher than expected property tax collections and grant funds from the Maryland National Capital Parking Planning Commission. So where is this money going? About $3.5 million is going to the county executive office for payroll and operations. Another $1.5 million to Public Works for Project Elevate. Another $1.5 million for Project Elevate. So Tanya, that answers your question. Where's the money coming from? I actually got two. That's the county's litter cleanup and beautification blitz that they've been doing. Roughly $1 million goes to what they're calling the Strike Force 311 initiative, aimed at clearing the backlog of service requests. Smaller portions go to the Department of Environment, Permitting and Inspections, and County Council. And like there was supposed to have been a little more that was supposed to go to DPI, like 500,000, but they took that back. So yes, the council is I'm sorry, and
But
more
you
than
know
$6
what?
million is landing in the broad non-departmental account. And the council is getting, oh my gosh, I think it was like
But
another
you know what? But you know
$925,000
what
for
concerns
operations.
me? Money's being used for payroll.
But yeah, I was gonna get to that, Tanya.
Oh, okay.
That was my, yeah. I was
Whew.
gonna explain to the people exactly what the problem is with that. Because again, we are now being fiscal irresponsible by funding one-time position. Well, there's no dedicated source for whatever is just going on. This is like when the county used those COVID funds and the state, and they were doing all the programs and doing everything, and they was like, oh, we got all this money to blow. And then when that money went away, now we are at a deficit because we have created new positions and new programs that we can't fund anymore.
Yeah, that's blowing my mind. We're acting like we got a windfall, but anyway, all the
Right.
same.
Instead of paying down the debt,
Yeah. Oh, we could pay. We.
half
Not
of it go to
mention
that.
the rainy
But
day
my thing
fund.
is, how were you if you didn't get that money? How were you going to make payroll?
They,
How was payroll going to be
Then
there
what?
are
made?
additional jobs, probably, Tanya. Remember, we had a hiring
I
freeze.
understand that, but my thing is, the jobs are there, the bodies are there. If you didn't get this money, how were those people going to be paid?
They can't hire them if they not.
What they had what they had for the people they had, what they budgeted for. But now that they got this new windfall of money, they're like, oh, well, we can
Go somewhere
add more to what we got.
else.
And then also don't forget
Well,
that
what?
they're taking
Hold
another
up.
million
You're
dollars for
saying
another position.
so
Go
you're
ahead.
saying because you just said it's for payroll. So when you tell me it's for
Yeah. And fringe
payroll,
benefits.
but still, when you're saying it's for payroll, that's existing people. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
existing
yeah,
people.
yeah.
That's not no people that you're getting ready to hire. That's people who's already there. So how are these people going to be paid if they didn't get this money?
No, I think it's new positions. I mean, the use of payroll is I guess not specific to whether you're a merit employee or appointee or contractor. It
Let's
sounds to
see.
me like they're bypassing the hiring freeze that I thought we were under, and they are going to pad their staffing
No,
with
but that's not
contract
what they're
hires.
saying. They said it's for payroll.
Right. I'm on
Pay,
payroll if I'm a contractor. I'm still getting a
yeah,
check.
yeah, no, but my point is this: if it's for payroll, that's positions that are already there.
It
These
doesn't
people are
have to
already
be
in there.
if it doesn't have to be if it
Mhm.
falls under a grant.
Yeah.
It could
But
be
that's
you're
why that's
allocating the money
but
for
okay, but y'all
this.
hear my point. You're not hearing why? Yeah, because they're not being specific. They're just saying it's for
Well, we know
payroll.
that they never specific. You are equating the use of payroll to merit employees. I'm
No,
saying
no, I'm just doing it to employees in the position now,
no,
existing
it
employees.
didn't say current though.
It doesn't matter. It says payroll. I don't care. It just says payroll.
But it can be new
Yeah, but just
people.
because it says payroll, it doesn't mean that, that is what is that's the line item what it's for. It doesn't mean, that it's for payroll because they didn't put it in the
But isn't
budget.
there
It could be
always a
something new.
description?
That's
Isn't
true.
it always there's a description
That's the
There
along the
should be.
description,
line of
That's
what?
what
payroll.
I was getting ready to say. There should be
Yeah.
something that says current payroll, and that's $50,000, and
Exactly.
future payroll, something like that
So
should be
who's to
in.
say that that money allocated for payroll was used for payroll?
Oh,
Exactly.
it probably won't be.
Well,
And that's what I'm getting at.
Well,
we,
yeah, that's the thing.
we
They're evasive about everything. I mean,
we could
you
try
know,
to do a FOIA request and find out exactly what it says.
well, we know what they do with FOIA requests. You
Exactly.
almost got to sue them.
and the thing about it is, they can move $30 million and open up and say they're going to renovate a community center, and then say in a publication that there's a celebrity's mental health organization that's only 7 years old that's going to have administrative authority at
Right.
the center.
And
what about the park and planning staff? How is it that this person even got this $30 million or however much? Why that group? Where's the
Right.
RFP for that? They have bypassed
That's the
all
problem.
procurement, contracting.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get 3 bids. That organization.
No, it depends on the amount on those 3 bids. It's 3. You can get 3 bids if that is over 50K. So unless they've increased it, you cannot get a bid over 25K. You cannot self-appoint that direct that bid.
Right.
So it should have been an RFP out there.
Right.
And what I noticed definitely with the school system, all procurements are supposed to be listed on our website. When did they remove that? When you award a bid, when you put that bid out,
That been stopped with our
and then they should be using e-procurement. The overall.
Donna, we know they're not doing that because Ron Watson's job should have gone out for a bid.
Yeah, the $200,000 contract that he has to be an advisor when he don't have any education credentials and didn't even list that he had been a board member when he ran for the delegate seat.
Hey,
but
you know what?
Double dipping.
Look, what he should have been advising is looking at that bill about the selection of the county executive of the state of the superintendent, the local superintendent, and understanding all this ambiguous language in there. That's what he should have been focusing, advising, doing your job.
Right.
Now, and I got a question. Now, how is he going to do any advising on that bill? And you now are sitting as an advisor in the school system. That just don't even make sense. That's the other thing about this group, this unity group, where I just say they don't even have common sense. Y'all just do things that on its face, it doesn't even take much to even see that ain't right. It don't even take much to see.
But that's just like a bank teller or somebody that works on Wall Street going to work at a bank and saying, oh, by the way, I heard that they about to pull down some stocks and we should let our stakeholders know. Like, it's a conflict of interest. I still haven't seen, I think I saw something talking about C. Anthony Muse being a DCAO. I can't find it, but I think it's interesting that I haven't seen anything formal about that. But that's also an issue. He's a state employee working in the county, and they passed that law last session, I think it was, that you can't do both. Ron is double dipping because he's a state employee as a senator working for a state agency. I don't know how the law people got that through.
Well, but not only that, he has input on the legislation that impacts the schools, but he's acting as an advisor.
Right.
I'm sorry, another waste of money. Yeah, if Dr. Joseph brought all of this knowledge, why does he have all these new advisors?
Right.
Why do he need all these new advisors? I mean, and I will tell y'all need to look at his contract. His contract has there are no metrics. around what he needs to do. And at any time he can say, man, it's too hard here, and can leave and still get paid.
Right. But I do want
And
to go back to the nonprofit conversation, as and it still ties back to parking planning and the project charges and all that. I'm waiting for some more information, so I'm only going to say so much. No disrespect to the celebrity actress, philanthropist, I guess, but why now in Prince George's County? Why come here? She wasn't here before, but because opportunity presented itself, and I haven't studied, I did post on our Facebook page her tax reports and her website. I don't see a board of directors. I see a team leaders listing. She now has an office at National Harbor for her organization. So they covered that base by giving her office. And then they had this big event at MGM, you're at the table or something. And Sherry Shepherd's on the Instagram talking about, I got locked out of my room. My suite is beautiful, but it's got all these rooms and doors. She was like in the presidential suite with a living room, a dining room, bedrooms, and everything. And I'm like, well, who paying for that? And she's like, Taraji put me up so nicely. Sherry ain't traveling for free.
Exactly. So none of the celebrities, look, you know what? I wasn't at the event, but I was told that first event that they had back in, I think it was April or May, she was given a check. And when she saw the check, she said, oh man, there's a lot of zeros here. Why are we giving money to a celebrity? I don't understand it.
And why are we funding an organization when we have been trying to fund the national, I think it's the National Alliance for Mental Illness, NAMI. They have been doing work in Prince George's County for years and always need a little more money. And so it's like there are other organizations that also do great work. And my thing is just stop being hypocrites and do what is legal and do what is fair. And the last thing I want to jump in on this thing about integrity and hypocrisy.
Before you jump on integrity, I still want to go back to CB98 really quick because I did pull up the information on it. So this is, you can see where it's going. The allocation $5 million will provide project management services for renovation and modernization. So that's where that is going. 925,000 is going towards nonprofit organizations to offer additional recreation programs through a pilot demonstration and program administrated by the council. And I have the question and wonder why does the money needs to come from parking and planning to go to the council to administer recreation programs? Because isn't that what parking and planning is for? Then there is that, well, this was to support an existing project, 500,000, but that was since removed from it, so that's no longer there. And this one here, so the adjustment of 3.3, it reallocates 1 million from non-departmental discretionary grants to these agencies. So that's where they're going to get, a bit of more money from. So yeah, this is where our money is going. The adjustment of 1.085 to DPWT, adjustments of contribution to the Board of Education. Finally, the legislation transfer 1.9, basically almost 2 million from the county's Board of Election contribution to non-department. Grants and transfer per requirement from the Maryland State Department of Education. So that's for the blueprint, and that's for the pre-K. So, it's I don't have a problem with them paying for the pre-K and stuff like that, but that's only a one-time thing. So what are they going to do next year?
But is that park and planning's job to fund the shortages that the county has for non-recreation? Oh, I forgot. Education is now considered a program that park and planning can fund, right?
Well,
yeah.
Yes. Under that project.
What was the first question? Does park You said does parking planning do what now? Do
I
they?
said, since when does parking planning support the council for monies that they don't have
Right,
in their
exactly.
budget?
Oh, to supplant it. I guess now apparently.
But how can they do that? Because that's and I'm going to do more research on that, but from
I was
my
about to say before you ask us how. I mean, I know that's probably a rhetorical question, but we got to do some more research on
Yeah,
that.
because from what I've been looking at, that money is allocated through state legislation, and so reallocation is supposed to, my understanding, come from the state. The council shouldn't have jurisdiction over that. But the other thing is, because it's by county, it puts us from what I've been seeing, and I'm going to do more research, but it puts us in a position where Montgomery County can come after us. We're not the only people putting money in that pool.
Right.
It's just not Prince George's County.
Right. And the other thing that alarms me is that the council is functioning as the agency administrator over programs and services when that is the responsibility of the county executive.
Exactly.
And then they always say, and we appreciate county executive Brave Boy's support. Well, it goes back to who's running the county.
But not only that, it breaks down the checks and balances.
Right, exactly. There are no check, confusion and corruption. So the other thing I want to point out is that former council member for District 7, Dorothy Bailey, who has served the Park and Planning Commission since the Baker administration announced her retirement this past week. And I thought that was interesting. I think, and I looked it up, Park and Planning for Montgomery County, their commissioners have 2 terms. The interesting part is that in Prince George's County, they didn't term limit the Park and Planning commissioners. Mm-hmm. So isn't that funny that the people who got into trim and term limits decided that the people running the land use shouldn't be term limited? It makes me wonder that they never thought Black people would end up running Park and Planning. So I'm concerned because she served 3 full terms plus 2 additional years. And my thing is, it should be staggered. They don't have term limits, but they have 4-year terms. And I didn't see that the 4-year term has to be specific to elections or anything like that. And so that's a problem for me as well. I am very concerned about who's going to replace her. And it would have been nice had somebody thought to move her before the new administration so that person could have the right to 4 years. It reminds me of Ruth Ginsburg, why not have gotten her out and then gotten us in? But the other thing, the last piece I wanted to talk about is the alumni awards. I've been a big proponent for honoring alumni and PGCPS all the way back, and I won't get into my input about it, but these awards are supposed to be nominations. Mm-hmm. And so, but there's no transparency about who got nominated and why people were picked. I think the board picks the people after the nominations are submitted, and the state superintendent is being honored because she's a graduate of Duval High School. Now, there's no residency requirement. There's nothing that says you had to have been this, that, or the other to PGCPS. You just have to, be a graduate who's done well in whatever field of service they're honoring you for. But I believe that she should have recused herself from the nomination because she is the person that sits in authority over PGCPS and the Board of Education and all of those things. And there are people who have grievances before them. Mm-hmm. Then you got Taraji, who's getting something, and she's getting money from the county.
Right. Oh,
You know,
can I say something too?
go ahead, I'm
We
done.
You got
you
three
got
minutes.
you got okay, we got Tracy Wilkins,
Oh yeah, her.
who we have sent her all of the evidence that I just talked about house being forced out. All of that was sent to her and crickets, nothing. She's being honored. You have, and I'm gonna
Finally.
bring Wright up, Dr. Wright. Now, and yeah, I understand she was a graduate in 1968, but some of y'all need to understand what was happening in 1968 in that part of the town. And I'll leave it right there. But the other thing is, she was supposed to uphold, her job is to uphold the education laws. She did not. And we have documented proof that she told the board they needed to do the right thing. And she still approved Sean Joseph's contract, his appointment, still approved it,
Mhm.
knowing all of this stuff that we just presented to you, because it was presented to them first, because we
Yeah.
gave them first the
Well,
opportunity
we
to do the
spent
right thing and
too
did
much time
nothing.
on some talking points that didn't talk about the other people that know of all these things that said, "Well, let them slide. They're a young man. We
Yep.
don't want to tear them down and stuff like that, and
Oh,
all the other
yeah.
criminal activities that happen." But this conversation was truly important, and we should definitely have it. All the reasons what we explained to you tonight, plus more, are why you're having a hard time getting the services that you want, why your budget is so large, and why we're overspending. So that's
Sherman,
something to pontificate and ponder about.
Sherman, I'm
Yes.
sorry. I made one promise to everybody that we, and I will be very quick.
Yeah.
And that
What happened?
is, okay. Some of you may have noticed that at the beginning of the school year, so the board went on a hiatus on at the end of the school year on the
Hmm.
26th of June. They told us basically that means no business was supposed to be conducted.
Yeah, and that was important
However,
enough.
however, when we come back to the school starting, one, they changed the website without notice to anybody.
Mhm.
And I'm in IT, so I went through and checked it, and it was just basically a flat database that they did really do a lot of scripting so that we could get to the data that we needed. I'll put it that way. The other thing is they changed the process for how we do participate with public participation, which now gives Brandon Jackson, who should resign,
Mhm.
uh, basically full authority as to who will testify. He gets to go through, check and see what you're going to say. And if he doesn't like it, then he doesn't let you testify like they did on June 26th when the whole group against Dr. Joseph, we weren't now allowed to testify and only the glorifying testimonies came to the podium. So we filed a complaint for a violent Opens Meeting Act, because the Open Meeting Act does say that if you have a normal way of communicating with your constituents, basically, you are supposed to give them sufficient notice of changes. Now, in 2021, we filed a complaint. It was, well, actually, the NAACP filed it, and we were in support of that. But the NAACP got the violation because they gave the community 1 day notice of a meeting. Here we are saying they gave us 1 day notice of being able to know how to participate in a board meeting and to go out and find information on the board website. And now, this is 2021, 2023. Only thing that's different is a different attorney general. Now that's not a violation, y'all. And that's why it's important for us to speak to our state legislators and let them know, because see, they get away scot-free a lot. And they're called, when it comes to education, they are the ones who are causing most of the issues because of the horrible bills that they write, with all this ambiguous language. And then when we tell them things that need to be corrected, they ignore it. So we need to make sure that there is teeth in these administrative processes so that we can hold our elected officials accountable instead of them being able to skirt around by getting these high priced attorneys and well, some of well, we'll talk that another day, but get attorneys so that they can start coming against us. This is supposed to be an administrative process, and then we have to do just like if we were in court. We have to fight against attorneys when we should be able to follow the language of the law and show specifically where they violated, and there should be the arbitrator on the side in the administrative office that handles this for us.
Yeah.
We need to get on our state legislators
Mhm.
this year. No more playing with them.
Well, there is so much that's going to go on with that. And keep in mind that we are in October going into November. So your legislators are already working on bills for next year. So you need to get in contact. Your state legislators are working on them now. So you need to get in contact with them because by the time they go to Annapolis in January, they're going to be full steam ahead.
Deals
Thank you
have been
guys
made.
so
And they
much.
running
Yeah,
for
thank you guys
office
so
too.
much for staying this long with us here at CAG Chat. We had a very insightful conversation, and we want to know, are we Gotham City or not? Drop that in the comment. We would truly appreciate that. Like, follow, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining us on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere else that you can. You all have a good night.